gentlemen, please welcome Bill Novelli, co-founder and current board chair of the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids.
Good evening and welcome, everyone. A quarter century ago, we were created to take on big tobacco, daring to fight for a tobacco-free future, one where the Marlboro Man is no longer a cultural icon, and Joe Camel isn't addicting a new generation of smokers.
Of taking on the toughest fights, with countless lives saved and proof that passionate advocacy can defeat the biggest of foes.
Take it from all the leaders here today and all of our partners around the globe. Change is possible. Speaking up does work. And when big tobacco doesn't back down, we don't either.
We've come a long way since 1996, and now we're setting our sights on what is next. Yes! Yes! Using our progress as a compass to create the first tobacco-free generation. Yes! And to tackle other public health challenges around the world.
We're reaching across borders and barriers, collaborating with partners, and continuing the fight for change.
For health.
For equity.
And for future generations. Oh, I apologize. It was for health.
For equity.
For lives.
And for the promise of the next generation.
Apologies for that one. Welcome to the 2022 Youth Advocates of the Year's Award. I'm Nakaya Telefero.
And I'm Nicolas Suarez. Thank you for joining us in celebrating 25 years of taking on the toughest fights.
That's 2.5 decades of going head-to-head with big tobacco. We don't mean to make anyone feel old, but that's a battle that started before either of us was born.
Look, we've made progress, even when it seemed impossible. And it's all thanks to the voices of young people and advocates all over the world who aren't afraid to stand up to giants.
The fight against big tobacco is far from over. But as the next generation takes the lead, we're ready for the challenges that await us.
Nakai and I would know, we're both former Youth Advocate honorees who are continuing the fight for change.
That's right. My tobacco control work and community engagement in my home state of Hawaii inspired me to continue pushing for policy change and study political science right here in Washington, D.C. at Howard University.
And I started my youth advocacy career at the age of 12 in my home state of Florida. And I'm proud that my journey has led me right here to Washington, D.C., working for the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids.
Nicolas and I have seen firsthand what passionate advocacy can do. Tonight, we're here to recognize how far our collective efforts have taken us and to lay the groundwork for what comes next. So, to start off the evening, please join us in welcoming Campaign for Tobacco-Free President Matt Myers.
With youth like that, there is no way we lose this battle. Good evening and welcome everybody. It is so wonderful to see people in person, not on Zoom. Our 25th anniversary was actually last year, but like so many things with COVID, we're celebrating a little bit late. Our anniversary did prompt us to look back at what life was like in 1996 when we opened our doors. The most popular movie at the time was the first Mission Impossible, which is what many people called our work, taking on the tobacco industry. We also found an old C-SPAN clip at the White House, after our first Youth Advocate winner met with and introduced President Clinton. That day, I called the young leaders the real stars of the movement, and that remains more true today than it was then. I'd like to ask this year's extraordinary Youth Advocates of the Year and all previous Youth Advocates here tonight to stand up. Please join me in giving them a hearty round of applause. "25 years ago, we were created to take on the toughest fights in public health, and we're extremely proud of what we have achieved in partnership with all of you. Back then, everyone thought it was inevitable that kids would smoke. Today, we have proven that there is nothing inevitable about it. Today, we've reduced smoking rates among our high school kids from over 36% to just 4%. And for adults, the rate has dropped from over 25% to barely over 12%. Back then, you couldn't walk into a restaurant without being asked smoking or no smoking. Today, we take it for granted that our offices, restaurants, bars, planes, and so many other places are completely smoke-free. In 1996, our kids couldn't watch a baseball game without seeing player after player chewing tobacco. Today, most major league stadiums are 100% tobacco-free. And kids no longer associate our nation's pastime with a harmful addiction. We're proud of our work with Major League Baseball to set the right example for our kids and intend to finish that job. The change around the world has been equally breathtaking. When the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control was adopted, smoking rates were skyrocketing in low and middle-income countries across the globe, and global sales seemed destined to rise forever. The World Health Organization projected that unless those trends were reversed, 1 billion people would die this century from tobacco use. But public health leaders said, not on our watch. We're proud to have worked with partners in over 60 low and middle income countries to pass strong laws and achieve landmark legal victories. Tonight, I'm thrilled to report that smoking rates have declined dramatically in countries as diverse as Bangladesh, India, Philippines, Uruguay, Ukraine, and others. Global cigarette sales that seemed destined to rise forever fell for the first time in 2012 and have fallen every year since that time. You'll learn more about that progress shortly. None of this progress was or is inevitable. It wouldn't have happened without the support of visionary funders like the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, which was instrumental in our creation, and Bloomberg Philanthropies and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which have funded global tobacco control programs for over 15 years and continue to do so today. Across the globe, we've been honored to work with courageous advocates and organizations in every country, but none more brave than our colleagues in Ukraine, who have been on the front lines of tobacco control for over a decade and today are fighting for the life of their country. We stand with them now more than ever. They need our support, and they'll have it. Our fight against tobacco is far from over, because the one thing that has not changed, despite their self-serving spin and ridiculous rhetoric, is the tobacco industry. Don't be fooled. They remain as hell-bent as ever on addiction and profit, without regard to how many kids they hook and how many people they kill. We know that not everyone in our country, and not every country, has benefited equally from the progress. COVID has shined a spotlight on stark health disparities in the US and around the globe. Disparities that are worsened by the tobacco industry's ruthless targeting of vulnerable communities. Tonight, we want to make clear we are absolutely 100% committed to focusing like a laser beam on advancing health equity everywhere in the world and stopping the tobacco industry's predatory marketing. And no single action in the US will have a greater, more profound impact than finally eliminating menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars, as the FDA just last week finally proposed. That battle's not over. Like every bold step, success will depend on every one of us stepping forward, acting together, and committing to making sure that that proposal becomes reality. We're thrilled tonight to be joined by so many partners who have helped lead that battle, including the African American Tobacco Control Leadership Council and the Center for Black Health and Equity. Thank you all for your leadership. We celebrate tonight because we have shown that smart, relentless public health advocacy can change the course of history. Today, we're equally excited about the work of our Global Health Advocacy Incubator, which applies our advocacy experience and expertise to other public health challenges, from road safety to drowning prevention to healthy food policies and many others. You'll hear more about that later, too. At the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, we're proud of the role we've played. But taking on the tobacco industry truly takes a village. In the US, our many partners have been and remain critical, including the American Cancer Society, the American Heart Association, the American Lung Association, the Truth Initiative, the American Academy of Pediatrics, CVS Health, Tobacco 21, Parents Against Vaping, brave and courageous local and state leaders, and so many more you'll hear about this evening. Thank you to all of our partners, both for what you have done and for your commitments to meet every future challenge. I also want to take an opportunity to personally express my deepest gratitude for the amazing team we have at the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids and the Global Health Advocacy Incubator, and our board of directors who have supported us every step of the way for 25 years. I can't think of a more capable, more resourceful, more dedicated group of people. Thanks to each and every one of you. But tonight is not only a look back. We also look forward to sharing our vision for the next 25 years and to working together to build a more equitable, just, and healthier future, one where every child grows up healthy and tobacco-free. As the past 25 years have shown, that's not just rhetoric. Together, we can make that reality. Now, please join me in taking a trip down memory lane as we look back at the milestones and champions that have made our progress in the United States possible.
Do you believe nicotine is not addictive?
Nicotine is not addictive. Nicotine is not addictive.
I believe nicotine is not addictive.
For the first time, a clear signal to the nation that we're serious about protecting kids from tobacco.
Today, for the first time, the federal government replaced rhetoric with substance.
Today, it's estimated that 4.5 million of our children and adolescents smoke. That's why FDA took bold action to protect our children from the dangers of tobacco.
4 of the largest tobacco companies agreed to settle the state's cases in a master agreement.
Which is really the beginning of the end for the way the tobacco industry has treated the American public.
The nation's attorneys general have been fighting to help reverse the staggering toll tobacco takes.
We're going to leave this here for you so you can see what 1,200 people actually look like.
I don't think there's anything that will have the kind of impact that this legislation will have. We literally will save tens of thousands of lives.
U.S. District Court Judge Gladys Kessler issued a landmark verdict.
A federal lawsuit finally made Big Tobacco cough up the truth.
It's the end result of a Justice Department racketeering lawsuit against Big Tobacco.
FDA's action can play a major role in breaking the gruesome cycle that seduces millions of teenagers.
We're about to enact truly historic legislation to protect the public health.
We've got the crew from the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. This legislation will save American lives and make Americans healthy.
CVS just announced it will no longer sell cigarettes and tobacco products.
We believe this is the right decision for our company. It positions us to play a bigger role in our evolving healthcare system.
There's been a huge surge of high schoolers vaping.
A Surgeon General sounding the alarm on e-cigarettes.
Flavored tobacco products are widely considered to be starter products because they mask the flavor of tobacco. They make it easier to become lifelong users.
Children as young as 8 years old were targeted by Juul.
Over 20% of high school students now vape. And what was the role of Juul in the dramatic rise in vaping?
These kids are using this addictive nicotine product of vaping, and they're using it because they're offering flavors like bubble gum designed specifically to entice children.
We are taking strong action to protect America's children as we pass legislation to confront the growing youth tobacco crisis.
When African Americans are disproportionately dying from a substance heavily distributed and targeted to our communities, we cannot sit back and watch people die right in front of us.
A newly introduced bill would ban flavored tobacco sales statewide, including menthol cigarettes and flavored e-cigs.
Vote for this bill. Protect our children from horrible habits that will devastate their lives and take the best of them.
Please welcome Lori Rubiner, Executive Vice President of U.S. Programs for the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids.
Good evening. What an amazing 25 years it has been, but we are not done yet. The tobacco industry never lets up in targeting our children and anyone they see as vulnerable to their predatory marketing. So we cannot let up in our fight to protect kids, advance health equity, and save lives. As Matt mentioned, we achieved a terrific victory last week when the FDA finally moved to prohibit menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars. Communities across the country are Communities across the country are also taking action, including San Diego, which just became the largest U.S. city to end the sale of menthol cigarettes. Way to go, San Diego. We're incredibly grateful for the leadership of members of Congress, including Karen Bass, Robin Kelly, and others, who are leading the charge to get rid of menthol cigarettes nationwide. We're also proud to be part of a determined coalition of more than 80 organizations working to eliminate menthol cigarettes, health groups, social justice groups, parent and education groups, and many more, as you can see in this ad. Many of these partners are here with us tonight, and I'd like to recognize them, including the National Medical Association, the Black Women's Health Imperative, the National Black Nurses Association, the Association of Black Cardiologists, the Center for Black Equity, the National Hispanic Medical Association, and the National LGBT Cancer Network. Thanks to all of you for your many other partners in this effort. Congress delivered another important win this year by closing the synthetic nicotine loophole that e-cigarette companies have exploited to target our kids. We're grateful to the members of Congress who made this victory possible, including Senate Help Committee Chair Patty Murray and House Energy and Commerce Committee Chair Frank Pallone. And we have other leaders fighting to end the youth e-cigarette epidemic and hold Juul and other e-cigarette makers accountable, including Representatives Raja Krishnamurthy, Rosa DeLauro, and many others. And speaking of champions, I'd like to add a special shout out to my former boss, Senator Richard Blumenthal, who helped negotiate the state tobacco settlement as Connecticut's Attorney General and continues to take on the tobacco industry in the Senate. And now it's time for a special video tribute from an unyielding champion of our cause and many other causes dear to all of us. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi has been a stalwart advocate for protecting the health and well-being of America's children. Whenever Nancy Pelosi has been Speaker, good things have happened in the fight against tobacco. During her speakership in 2009, Congress passed both the Tobacco Control Act, giving the FDA authority over tobacco, and the largest federal tobacco tax increase in our nation's history. Then, in 2020, Speaker Pelosi led the House in voting to prohibit all flavored tobacco products, the first time a chamber of Congress has ever done so. It is my tremendous honor and privilege to introduce a message from Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
As Speaker, it is my privilege to bring greetings from the Congress to the campaign for tobacco-free kids as you gather to celebrate your 25th anniversary. Let us salute the 2022 Youth Advocates of the Year, including my fellow Californian, Agam Rupkar of San Ramon. Thank you all for speaking out on behalf of your generation. For a quarter of a century, the campaign for tobacco-free kids has been fighting to safeguard young people's right to a full and healthy life. I remember when tobacco companies shamelessly used images of the Blessed Mother in their advertisements around the world. How far we have come thanks to all that you have done. Your essential work has helped reduce youth smoking by 84%, saving millions of lives across the country. When people ask me to name the 3 biggest issues before the Congress, I always say the same thing: our children, our children, our children. Working alongside you, Democratic House majorities advanced landmark legislation to defend young Americans' health and well-being. In 2009, we enacted the Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control Act, finally empowering the FDA to regulate tobacco. In 2020, we passed the Protecting American Lungs and Reversing the Youth Tobacco Epidemic Act. As you know, this urgently needed legislation would ban flavored tobacco products, ending a malicious marketing tactic, luring kids toward addiction. We must continue fighting until these dangerous products are off the shelves for good. And with this year's government funding legislation, the Democratic caucus took another key step forward, banning synthetic tobacco. House Democrats are proud to be your partners in the Capitol, and we are committed to achieving our shared mission, bringing the tobacco crisis to an end. Thank you for your 25 years of tireless advocacy, and best wishes for a lovely evening. Thank you.
How lucky are we to have her? Thank you, Speaker Pelosi, for being an unwavering champion for change. And now it is my big honor to present my esteemed colleague and friend, Yolanda Richardson, our Executive Vice President of Global Programs.
Thanks, Lori. Now, I'm excited to update you on our global tobacco control work. Please enjoy this video, and then I'll be back to tell you more.
If we do nothing, tobacco will kill 1 billion people by the end of this century. We just have to say, enough is enough.
Uruguay has taken this battle very seriously. We have emphasized prevention and increased the price of tobacco products.
We were really focused on making sure it was successfully implemented here and then able to be used as an example in other countries.
Tobacco control needs to be pursued like a mission, a social movement, and a noble cause. Together we can win this battle.
We had an extraordinary victory in 2018 in our Supreme Court, validating a tobacco control policy in Brazil.
In 2008, Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids came to Ukraine, and that's how everything started. We all together should fight the tobacco-free world. That's the only option for us.
Our success would not have been possible without forging a strong partnership with civil society. We want our young population to live a healthy life.
We have a duty to protect kids when tobacco companies target them.
As we saw in the video, many of the Judy Wilkenfeld Award winners have become even stronger leaders and role models, exemplifying Judy's deep commitment to tobacco control. For more than 20 years, Judy used her voice to fight the deadly toll of tobacco and lift up the voices of others. Judy's family is here with us tonight, and I'd like to invite them to stand and be recognized. Now I'd like to share a few stories to further highlight our work. I'm from a tradition of storytelling, so that's what I'm about to do. Our work with partners around the world has been nothing short of gratifying. India's rates of oral cancer are among the highest in the world. Because many of the victims begin smokeless tobacco products as kids, far too many die young. Working with the country's leading oral cancer oncologists, we elevated the need for more effective policies to reduce the consumption of these deadly products. Opposition from the tobacco industry was about the fiercest we've seen anywhere. Despite this opposition, the Indian government passed and implemented large graphic health warnings on tobacco products. The adoption of large graphic health warnings in India ignited a race to the top in South Asia and beyond. But the continental change did not stay in South Asia alone. When Paraguay went 100% smoke-free in 2021, the last domino fell, and today the people of every South American country are now protected from the dangers of secondhand smoke. The campaign worked with local advocates throughout Latin America to advocate for stronger policies and to achieve several key legal victories when the industry, threatened by the progress, sought to bully countries with litigation. In Uruguay, tobacco companies used international trade laws and tribunals to prevent the government from enacting strong tobacco control laws to protect its citizens. They lost. In Brazil, the industry attempted to prevent a flavoring ban from going into effect that reduced the attraction of tobacco products for kids. They lost. Tired of losing in Latin America, they tried to use the same bullying tactics in Africa. The governments of Kenya and Uganda refused to be intimidated and defended their laws against legal challenges by the British American Tobacco Company. The campaign collaborated with attorney generals in both countries to support their legal cases with global evidence and with global experience. And again, so good. We have been so delighted to be able to support our other African colleagues, and in Botswana, just in this past year, earlier passed a very strong tobacco control law. The industry may sue there as well. They're threatening it, but we fully intend to support the efforts of the government of Botswana to defend their law if asked. There is no greater satisfaction than ensuring that the industry lose again. As part of our vision for the next 25 years, we are building on the successes and lessons learned in public health advocacy to address some of the world's toughest fights beyond tobacco for other public health challenges. In 2014, we launched the Global Health Advocacy Incubator. As a program of the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. In 2017, Bloomberg Philanthropies brought the incubator on board to work with the Vietnamese government and the World Health Organization to create a national drowning prevention program. In Vietnam, the #1 cause of death for children under 15 is drowning. Over the past 3 years, almost 15,000 children have been taught survival swimming, and almost 35,000 children have been educated on water safety in provinces where drowning rates are the greatest. Recently, our team met with a father whose family lives in a remote area of Vietnam. This father brings his children to the closest pool, 20 kilometers away from his home, so that the kid can participate in the program. He did not have the chance to learn to swim as a child, and he still can't swim. He wants his daughter to learn so that he will not have to worry about her drowning when she's playing near a river or a stream. Through the Global Health Advocacy Incubator, we're utilizing lessons learned from the global fight against tobacco to improve other public issues around the globe. And now, I am pleased to introduce my new colleague, Lucy Martinez-Sullivan, who joined the campaign earlier this year to oversee the work of the incubator. Lucy.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? Great. This is an amazing evening so far. The campaign's accomplishments over the past 25 years have provided the foundation for the Global Health Advocacy Incubator's track record of public policy change. Both are a testament to our incredible team and our partners. Our track record is also a demonstration that advocacy works. We have shown that a systematic approach to advocacy can achieve results in every part of the world, in diverse political systems, for the most pressing public health priorities. Our model is based on helping civil society organizations strengthen their capacity to advance policies that save lives, reduce disease and injury, and create healthier futures. Now that this model has been proven, we don't want to keep it to ourselves. We want people everywhere to have the tools to create the healthier world that they envision. For us, that means expanding into a new phase of work, to become the go-to organization for global health advocacy and train a new cadre of public health advocates who can improve health in their own countries. To build on the strength across the range of issues we work on, from our cutting-edge work on food and nutrition policy to our life-saving efforts on road safety, drowning prevention, and our newest area of work, tackling the growing crisis of opioid overdoses here in the U.S. To help governments strengthen their health systems, applying our experience supporting the improvement of legal systems for health data collection, and building the political will and public support for more robust public health budgets, from improving maternal and reproductive health to the prevention of the next epidemic. And because big food companies have learned a thing or two from big tobacco and are applying the same tactics to block healthy policies all over the world, to help governments and civil society apply the lessons we've learned from tobacco control to confront and stop this harmful industry interference wherever it happens. Through it all, we are moving ahead to help advocates assist their governments to shape and deliver on the policies that affect their lives. This is our vision, a healthier world shaped by the people who live in it. We're thrilled about everything that we've accomplished, but we're just getting started. Thank you, all of our supporters and our partners, for being part of our story. And please join me in welcoming back to the stage Matt Myers.
Now I'm thrilled to introduce our next guest, an incomparable champion not just in the fight against tobacco, but also against other leading causes of death and disease around the world. First, as mayor of New York City, and then as a philanthropist, Michael Bloomberg has demonstrated how many lives can be saved by the actions of a visionary leader. Thanks to the comprehensive smoke-free law and other measures adopted under Mayor Michael Bloomberg, smoking rates fell dramatically and life expectancy rose significantly in New York City. Since leaving office, his achievements have only multiplied because of Mike Bloomberg, not just the resources he provides, but his vision, courage, and long-term commitment. Today, we're making progress in the United States and across the world that was previously unthinkable. Please watch the screens for a message from Mike Bloomberg.
Hello, everyone. And to all the youth advocates being honored today, let me say congratulations and thank you. You're helping to save lives and preventing an awful lot of suffering, and you're setting a wonderful example for young people around the world. The good news is we're making a lot of important progress fighting the tobacco epidemic. For example, in 2012, global sales of cigarettes started falling for they've continued to decline every single year since. Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids has played a very big role in that progress. The organization does amazing work, and I want to thank Matt Myers for his leadership and everyone who supports the organization. Tobacco still kills around 9 million people every year and sickens tens of millions more. The pandemic has made our work even more urgent, since people who smoke are more likely to be hospitalized or die from COVID. We still have a long ways to go, and the more we work together, the more lives we can save. The young people being honored today are helping to lead the way. So congratulations again, and all the best.
Please welcome to the stage Gustavo Torres, Director of Youth Advocacy for the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids.
Thank you. Over 25 years, we've proven the power of coming together. We've learned that relentless advocacy yields progress in our local communities, across the country and globe. I actually learned this firsthand as a youth advocate. Myself over 26 years ago. I started as a way of encouraging my mom to stop smoking, but it quickly became my life's work. Fighting big tobacco and holding our elected officials accountable. Ensuring we put people over profit. I know this path is true to so many in the room tonight, and we've never been in better hands. That's evident in the young leaders we're recognizing tonight. Please join me in honoring our 2022 Youth Advocates of the Year, trailblazers and innovators from across the country. Together, they're leading the fight for a healthier, just, and more equitable future. I am proud to work alongside young people who are leading this movement. With their fierce advocacy, nothing can stop us from stamping out tobacco for good.
Hi, my name is Joshua Ching. I'm from Maipahu, Hawaii, and I'm proud to be a 2022 Youth Advocate of the Year. What I'm most proud of is how year after year our legislative priorities have come closer and closer to becoming law. This year we have the support of a large swath of representatives, senators, community members, advocates. I'm keen on pushing our bill forward. And for me, it showed me that having the tenacity to persevere through obstacles is vital in advocacy work and something I think I'll carry forward through the rest of my life.
Hi, I'm Adriana Quisaus. I'm from Cuba, New Mexico, and I'm a 2022 Youth Advocate of the Year. I first got involved in tobacco prevention my freshman year. An organization called Involvement came to my school and they educated us about the dangers of tobacco and what we could do to advocate for changes in this. And their message really resonated with me because I have younger siblings, younger cousins that I want to protect and create a healthier future for.
Hi, my name is Raquel Rebay and I'm from Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I'm the 2022 Youth Advocate of the Year. I believe it's extremely important to teach children about the dangers of tobacco use from a young age because to learn about all the dangers of it before they even get exposed to it. I've created science experiments and presented twice for young children because when they have that sort of drive in them and to learn, then they don't want to resort to drugs and tobacco use later in their lives when they know how much that could affect their future.
Hi, my name is Katherine Morrison, and I'm from Paducah, Kentucky, and I'm a 2022 Youth Advocate of the Year. Tobacco companies target poor people and minorities because they feel like that they're an easy target. The challenges that I've come across in my advocacy are the two main ones are ridicule and then feeling that I'm too small. A lot of times, I'll doubt myself and be like, oh, well, I can't really make a difference because I'm just one person. Well, it starts off as one person and then it goes to the next person and then it goes to the next person. So what I do for my challenges is I try to just tackle them with positivity and let them know that I'm here for them and I'm here for their health.
Hello, my name is Elle Pliego.
Hi, my name is Nia Angelova.
Hi, my name is Najla Blair.
And I am Hadley Brown. We are Tennessee Strong Ambassadors from Sumner County, Tennessee. We are so excited to be the 2022 Group Advocates of the Year.
I think it's a big thing that we can help our whole community as we grow up. So I think it's important that we can reach everyone and no one can say that they didn't know about the dangers associated with vaping.
We can start one person at a time, and one person at a time will go and affect another person and will go and influence someone else, and it creates that ripple effect that we really need to see in our community, in our state, and in our nation. We are fighting for our friends
and our community, and public health,
the people who didn't have a choice,
for tobacco-free Hawaii,
For my friends and family,
For positive tobacco-free policies.
For children across the globe.
It is now my honor. They're all taller than me. It gets worse as you get older, so watch it. It's now truly my honor to present this year's Barry Fisk National Youth Advocate of the Year Award. Barry was a dear friend, a passionate advocate, and a longtime member of our board of directors, who passed away in 2019 after a brave fight with cystic fibrosis. Barry was a tireless advocate for the right to breathe clean air and remains an inspiration to us all tonight. I'd like to recognize Barry's husband, Russell, and stepdaughter, Kate, who are with us this evening. Russell, Kate. Thanks to the generosity of Barry's family and friends, and inspired by Barry's lasting legacy, we launched the Barry Fisk Youth Leadership Fund to take our youth advocacy program to new heights. The Barry Fund is helping us to foster a new generation of young advocates and equip them to carry our fight for change forward. With this fund, we will recognize and elevate exceptional youth leaders, invest in young people from communities most impacted by tobacco, and launch a comprehensive network of youth leaders to impact public policy in states and cities across the nation. For many of our youth advocates, working with the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids has led to a lifelong commitment to fighting for change. They truly have become the next generation of leaders, advancing not only tobacco control, but other causes as well. We are proud of them and inspired by them every single day. Now it's time to present the 2022 Barry Fisk National Youth Advocate of the Year Award. This award recognizes one outstanding youth advocate who demonstrates leadership, commitment, creativity, and courage. This year's honoree, Agamrup Kaur of San Ramon, California. has been a powerful force in our fight against the youth e-cigarette epidemic and flavored tobacco products. No one should underestimate the power of a young person to bring about change. Here's a video to tell us more about her.
Hi, I'm Agamrup Kaur. I'm from San Ramon, California, and I'm the 2022 Barry Fisk National Youth Advocate of the Year. Big Tobacco Bicker Epidemic was actually the first film I've ever created and really goes into explaining the different aspects of the vaping epidemic and why there's so many youth using vaping products, how the industry's really infiltrated our learning environments, what policy can best be used to actually combat the epidemics. Giving testimony on SB 793 to the California Senate Health Committee was really important for me because it was just a pivotal next step in my experience in policy advocacy. Giving that testimony to end the sale of all flavored tobacco products was just an inspiring experience. And being invited to Governor Newsom's signing of SB 793 was just an incredible honor. I really stay motivated to take on the toughest fights by remembering the reason I started in the first place, and that really is, at the end of the day, my sister, my cousins, and like my community. I want to be able to create a safer environment for them, and knowing that the tobacco industry, like in my experience with schooling, has really infiltrated our environment, I want to be able to make sure that they don't have that same experience. I'm Agamrup Kaur, and I'm proud to take on the toughest fights.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming and congratulating Agamrup Kaur, our 2022 Youth Champion.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Agamrup Kaur, and I'm honored to be the 2022 Barry Fisk National Youth Advocate of the Year. As I reflect on my journey, I'm always focused on creativity. As a woodshop builder, I piece together scrap wood to make art. Unafraid of the dust, wood shaving, splinters, and heavy machine noises, I continue to create one step at a time. When it comes to my advocacy, unafraid of setbacks, I continue to take on the tobacco industry one step at a time. I first learned of the harms of e-cigarette use from my 7th grade teacher. Her message really resonated with me as I noticed how school bathrooms were turning into vaping lounges, filled with the notorious scents of strawberry, watermelon, and worse. I knew then my advocacy work was just starting, even at such a young age. These early experiences motivated me to push for the California law ending the sale of all flavored tobacco products. I testified before the legislature, mobilized my peers through social media, and even joined Governor Newsom at the bill signing. Once the tobacco industry challenged the law at the ballot box, and may I just say we will be winning that vote in November. Yeah. Since then, I've been working city by city to pass local laws. I'm also incredibly proud of the video I produced for the C-SPAN documentary competition. The documentary won 2nd prize and aired across the country. Formatted as a letter to the President and Congress, it animated the youth e-cigarette crisis and showcased the tobacco industry's tactics and how to best counter them. Having created a film without prior experience has given me immense confidence to move beyond traditional paths in pursuit of real solutions to real problems. In all my work, the key has always been connecting with my peers, and I'm excited to keep working with and for them to create the first tobacco-free generation. As you heard in the video, I'm always motivated by helping my family and friends, making sure they have a better future free of tobacco use and its harms. Being recognized as the Barry Fisk National Youth Advocate of the Year enables me to continue my work and my passions. Thank you so much for this incredible honor.
I don't remember what you were like when you were 18, but I wasn't in a position to do that. So let's one last round of applause for Agam Rup Kaur. And all of our amazing youth advocates. We look forward to everything you will continue to do. Now it's time to introduce a champion who needs no introduction in this fight. No one has had a greater impact over a longer period of time in fighting tobacco than Illinois Senator Dick Durbin. He made this fight a priority from the moment he arrived in Congress in 1983, and he has been with us every step of the way. Dick Durbin passed a law that made airlines smoke-free and sparked the global movement for tobacco-free air. He was a leading advocate for the Tobacco Control Act that gave the FDA authority over tobacco. And he is fighting today to protect children from e-cigarettes and other flavored tobacco products. It is my honor to introduce one of the most committed friends of our cause, Senator Richard Durbin of the state of Illinois.
Congratulations to the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids on your 25th anniversary. You've really made amazing progress in reducing tobacco use, a real public health challenge, and I've been honored to work alongside you from the beginning. Like many American families, my family was touched by tobacco-related cancer. That painful memory of losing my father motivated me to challenge big tobacco early in my congressional career. You know the story. I started with banning smoking on airplanes, and I didn't realize that it would be a tipping point. After decades of spreading lies and addiction, we finally began to hold big tobacco accountable for their deadly products. After tough legislative fights and legal battles, we gave the Food and Drug Administration authority over tobacco products. Then we raised tobacco taxes and priced these products high enough to discourage kids and even adults from using them. This strategy, which we worked on together, has had a dramatic impact on cutting smoking rates and keeping millions of kids from ever taking up this deadly habit. But don't relax, our work isn't over. Big tobacco is after the kids again, this time with e-flavored cigarettes and vaping, but we're not giving up. Recently, Congress passed my provision to close a loophole and make sure that the FDA can regulate something called synthetic nicotine products. Just last month, FDA issued historic regulations to finally ban menthol cigarettes and all flavored cigars. Every step of the way, I've been able to count on you and your fearless leader, Matt Myers. Thanks for your unwavering dedication over the last 25 years.
Thank you, Senator Durbin, for those extraordinarily kind words. You know, with champions like you and everyone in this room, we can and will defeat the tobacco industry. I also want to thank all of our sponsors this evening for your support. You make our work possible. We couldn't do it without you.
Thank you to this guy. And thank you to all our partners and allies for standing with us for the past 25 years. We look forward to working with you to end the tobacco epidemic and to tackle other public health challenges.
In the U.S. and across the globe, we will keep up the fight to save even more lives. We've been winning for a quarter of a century, and we will keep up this fight as long as it takes to produce a healthier, safer, and more just world.
And now take a moment to watch the screens for a closing video. Then we get to eat. More food, more drink. The video.
We've got the crew from the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids.